Okay, I think it's time to start. I think we have quite a few people here. So first of all, I want to thank you very much for attending today. We'll have a great program update from the college. We have a little bit of announcements here. Still looking for sponsors on the golf tournament. Today we released the newsletter. There's some interesting things in there too. Looking for always for new members and supporters. And before we get to our program, I would like to acknowledge a couple of people here. From the Port of Olympia, Dr. Zita. From the city, John Doan, Ann Cook, and from the city council, we have Michael Altsizer. Thanks for coming. Who do we have here? A couple of board members, Gina Kotek and Brian Hardcastle. And we have a few members here, and everybody is very welcome. So without further ado, I'm going to let Valerie Sundi, which is also one of our directors, introduce our program speakers. And Valerie, you have the microphone.
Thanks, Gabe. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here today. I am Val Senby. I serve as the Dean for Social Science and Business at South Puget Sound Community College, and for the last couple of years have also been a part of the Tumwater Chamber of Commerce Board. So today it is my pleasure to welcome Dr. Tim Stokes, our college president, and Frank Adeo, our director of craft brewing and distilling. And they're just going to share a bit related to kind of some updates and goings on at the college. And then Frank is going to specifically share some updates about our new building in the craft district in Tumwater. So we've been very excited about the Tumwater partnerships there and are looking forward to sharing with you about that. So I will turn it over to Tim.
Well, thanks, Val, and thanks for having us today. We're excited about everything going on in Tumwater, and we're certainly excited about the project we've been part of over there. Let's see if I can get this going here. Is that working? Can you see that? Please tell me yes. Okay, very good. Okay, let's hop over here. Okay, so I guess that's the best it's going to do right here on this little. Okay, so I wanted to spend some time today just going over just an overview of everything going on at the college, and then Frank is going to really hone in on the brewing and distilling program. But did the slide change? Okay, great. Because I have 3 screens here and one's doing this weird thing and I'm like, I don't know which one they're seeing. So the college has about 6,000 students currently. About half of those are planning to transfer to a university. A third are planning to enter directly into the workforce in our workforce development programs. And about 1 out of 10 of our students are at the college to earn basic skills upgrades. A lot of that will be high school diploma equivalencies and English as a second language. Last year we awarded about 2,000 associate degrees and certificates to 1,400 students. Our commencement's a pretty big ordeal when you get 1,400 students and 3 or 4 family members each. We pretty much take over the Evergreen campus. Had 510 diplomas and high school equivalency GEDs, and the average GPA for our graduating cohort was 3.3. What's going on at the college right now is we're seeing up until the pandemic, we had, about 54% of our students were female and 36% were male. We did see a disparate impact in our enrollment, especially for BIPOC individuals and women. Those enrollments did go down quite a bit during the pandemic. This slide shows you where our graduates transfer to. About a third of them transferred to UW, Evergreen, or St. Martin's. And overall, about 93% of our students stay in the community to live and work after they graduate. The impact for COVID-19, our fall enrollment was down about 9%. We were pretty happy about that because across the community and technical college system and the four-year system, it was down between 4 and 35% across the state. And, that has long-term impacts on the economic development of the state. The technical colleges were hit really hard. Most of their enrollments were down 25 to 35%. We did see some good things come out of COVID. Our fall to fall retention rate, so students that started with us the fall before COVID were the same as this fall. So we had the same retention rates, which was pretty incredible. And then despite moving everything online in about 3 days, we had high academic success rates even after going online. And then the CARES Act funding. The first round of CARES money, we got 1.5 million, and that was for housing, technology, and basic needs for students. The second round was about 5.7 million. And then the third round that we were just notified about yesterday, we received $10 million, and 5 million of that will be handed out directly to students for direct impact to COVID. Craft brewing and distilling, Frank's going to cover a lot of this in his presentation, but we graduated our first cohort in June of 2020. Total of 21 students, 8 of them had dual specialties with brewing, cider, or distilling, and 6 of them are actively building breweries and distilleries in Washington, Pennsylvania, and Kentucky. We were kind of surprised we thought this would be a regional program that would only enroll students from around the region, but we found out that it's the only program in the nation, so we were able to draw enrollments from across the country. 35 new students started in the fall. We added some program staff. Our newest add has 25 years of industry experience and just is a pretty remarkable person to help Frank out over there in brewing and distilling. And we also added Meg Myers as our business director. We are launching our own labels. Frank will tell you about those, and Meg is going to be our business and finance coordinator for that. And then I think Frank will tell you about some of the new classes. That's a beautiful shot of what the brew floor looks like. It looks a little different now because there's a lot of process piping that we've put in. Down there in the bottom right, you will see our label, Percival Creek. I think we have the brewing label up there. And then the outside of the building that you've probably driven by 1,000 times wondering, I wonder what's going to happen in that building. Will there ever be cars in the parking lot? Frank will tell you why there's few cars in the parking lot. There's some more shots of the building. It's a beautiful building overlooking the Deschutes River and the valley there. We also did about a $16 million upgrade on the Health and Wellness Center at the college last year. We added an additional gym, cardio and weight rooms, and multi-use room. It's a beautiful building, and the space is just really incredible. We haven't been able to have students in the building because we finished it in August, so we're pretty excited about getting back on campus and getting into the new Health and Wellness Center. And then our project over in Lacey, we house the Veterans Hub for Thurston County. We are doing a major remodel of that building. Hang on just a second. Sorry, not turned off there. So the Veterans Hub, I drove over there and took a look at that last Thursday, and it's looking really good. You can see a major upgrade to that building as well. That's about a $7.5 million project. And then what we're getting ready to start on, the building there at the intersection of 101 and I-5 is Dr. Angela Bowen, who passed away in 2017. As part of her estate, she gifted us that building, or half of that building, and we're remodeling 3 floors, and it will be our health education center, and we'll house nursing. which will allow us to double our double the number of students in our nursing program and increase the number of graduates in our medical assisting program. And as you can guess, those are really high demand fields in Thurston County. Looking ahead, you've probably heard about our drive-through mass vaccination clinic at the college. Over the last 4 days, we've been able to get 4,000 shots in arms thanks to the Department of Health in Thurston County. We're adding some new sports teams in the fall, though there's an esports team as well as women's soccer. You'll be hearing a lot about Percy, our new Kraken mascot. I've seen the mascot uniform. It's pretty incredible, if I say so myself. And then the college was chosen this year. We have a running start program, which allows high school juniors and seniors to come to the college for no tuition and complete both their high school requirements and college AA requirements for their AA degree. We've only been able to run that program for the 3 quarters where the school districts are in session, and we were chosen as a pilot to pilot Running Start for summer. So we'll be launching that this summer. And now I'm going to turn it over to Frank and let him tell you all about brewing and distilling. But first I have to figure out how to stop sharing my screen. Hang on, Frank. Give me a second. Did I unshare? Okay, Frank, it's all you, my friend.
All right. Thank you very much, Tim. All right. So thank you, everybody, for the invitation to return and give an update on the craft brewing and distilling program and the new facility we have here in Tumwater. I'm excited to share what we've been working on and the direction that we're heading in. So just a bit about our program. We offer an Associates in Applied Science. We have transfer relationships that have already been established with WSU Evergreen. And as of this morning, I heard from the director of the craft brewing and winemaking program at Central Washington University, and we've made some inroads in being able to establish a direct transfer degree from our degree to theirs at Central as well. We have our students specialize in the second year to kind of zero in on which of the 3 crafts that they want to focus on. As Tim mentioned in his presentation, some students choose to use their electives to dual specialize in a couple different crafts. But we do design the program intentionally so that if a student comes in to learn how to be a cider maker, that they also take all of the critical classes for brewing and distilling too. This makes for a more well-rounded graduate to head out into the industry. It also improves the likelihood that those students may be able to find employment in some of the other crafts as well. So we intentionally design the program to have a lot of cross-craft training. It is a hybrid program, and so we get together for an in-person weekend about once per month. Otherwise, the lectures, coursework, discussions are provided to students asynchronously. And this is very important, especially to make a program that is accessible for non-traditional students. So for folks who may not be able to come to campus for all of their courses. This allows for our students to be able to design a schedule that works for them so they can work in their education into their very busy lives, regardless of what that schedule looks like. We brought on a new cohort this past September, and we've been having a lot of fun working with them in the new facility. We were also very pleased to announce that our inaugural cohort did graduate in June of last year, and I'll share a little bit about what they had worked on completion as well. This is another image of our new facility here at the Craft District here in Tumwater. We are thrilled to have a presence in Tumwater here, especially for the brewing program, considering there's such a rich history of brewing here in town. and Tumwater. And so we're thrilled to be here. In terms of the facility itself, that's a part of the craft district, which is a hub for craft makers and other businesses. We share the building with Heritage Distilling, which is a fantastic distillery here in Washington as well as in Oregon. And they've been a fantastic resource, both for instructional opportunities, providing employment opportunities for our graduates, and we're thrilled to have them as a neighbor to work side by side. On our side of the facility, we have classrooms. On our upper floor, we have laboratories on the second of 3 floors. That includes biology, chemistry, analytical work, as well as sensory. And then our lowest floor is where we have our production operations. We have a fully operational commercial brewery, cidery, and distillery on that lower floor. And aside from the commercial equipment that we've designed so students can get access to this experience, we've also implemented and brought on low environmental impact technology. This is rather important because all the technology we've included on the floor, we believe is going to be commonplace in the next 5 to 10 years in the craft beverage industry. And because we pride ourselves as being on the leading edge and will continue to remain on the leading edge, we want our graduates not just to leave the program being familiar that this technology exists, but actually leaving with hands-on experience with working and maintaining and operating this equipment too. Some of this includes a CO2 recovery system where we're able to take CO2 from fermentation and then save it for carbonation, so we don't release extra CO2 into the atmosphere. Another technology is to utilize, to borrow oxygen from the atmosphere to sanitize our tank, at which point we return that oxygen when we're done with the sanitization process. And this avoids us having to dump strong acids and chemicals down the drain. So we reduce our input, our impact downstream from our operation. So our facility is very nearly completed on the process piping, and the facility is completed, but all the commercial equipment is very close. 2 images on the left are on the brewery and cidery side. The image on the upper left is what we traditionally call a brew house, but considering that this equipment will be used to process all of our spirits, our cider, and our beer, it's really the kind of the workhorse for the facility for everything pre-fermentation. The image on the right of this beautiful still is the same model that we have ordered from a Kentucky fabricator. They are finalizing the process this month, and we expect to get an announcement for them to ship that equipment to us in early April. So we're excited to get this equipment online come May. Before I speak about the kind of the breadth of coursework that we offer in the program, I just wanted to show this slide briefly, just to elucidate the point that this craft beverage industry is such a large growing industry, but there are so many jobs and opportunities available in it that include far more than just the work with boots on the production floor. And the reason why, when you'll see next on the next slide, the range of classes that we offer, you'll have a better understanding, I hope, of why we've tried to make sure that we set up our students for success and provide them with as much familiarity and as many skill sets as possible so they can pursue as many employment opportunities as is available in the industry. These are the course offerings that we have currently, and there are several that are in development that will be brought online the next couple of years. But then I've broken them up into respective baskets, so to speak, for each of these different topics. And so aside from going through each of the raw ingredients that are used as components for all of these craft beverages, but also business administration and management is a really important focus, as is craft technical training. The elective series are opportunities for students to also further specialize in certain niche areas of the industry. But one of the also particularly unique, one of the many unique aspects of our program that we bring is the industry experience component. So I'll take just a second here to explain what each of these are. As Tim had mentioned, we will be operating with our own labels for a brewery, cidery, and distillery. So aside from the students leaving our instructional program with their degree, they also leave the program with industry experience because they've effectively worked in a fully immersive commercial environment. We do want them to get exposure outside of just our facility, and so there is an internship component to the program where students go out and work for longer term periods with local makers. This gives them a great opportunity to see the many correct ways that this industry is able to operate, not just how we operate it in our own facility. Every plant has its own objectives, every business has its own objectives, and so we want the students to get as much exposure as possible so they can see what the options are out there. And then fieldwork and collaborations are a really big part of this too, and this often happens on those in-person weekends. And we'll speak a little bit to this too in the upcoming slides. These are some of the industry leading businesses that have professionals that have made up rather fundamental faculty members of our instructional program. And we're thrilled to have these individuals as partners. Many of these businesses continue to support us as well and additional opportunities and resources and experiences. We always like to find new partners as well to continue to grow, but this is I hope sufficient to show that we continue to work hard to work with our partners in industry, and certainly industry sees and values what we are also able to bring to the program, to the industry. Here's some recent photos of our current cohort at work on their in-person weekends. The image in the upper left is one of our students. Though it may look like she may be on Facebook or Instagram, we have fully digitized our sensory evaluation program. So students are able to evaluate their peers' products using their own phones. There's no sharing of paper or pens. And then all of that information gets compiled so that when they enter that digital data, it actually gets analyzed and put into a data visualization format that everyone can actually see how their sensory input compared to their peers. The lower left and the middle are students who are working on beverage analysis. The student in the middle is actually analyzing a home malt experiment that they worked on in the last month and a half, where they received raw barley and then they were given directions to learn how to make their own malt at home using tap water, a sieve, and their kitchen oven. And then they bring those malts in and then they run it through analysis to compare how they stand up to commercial malts as well. And the image on the right is of one of our students who's going through the process of creating a new blended product from 4 different barrel samples from Matchless Brewing here in Tumwater. And a lot of the blending process, both for distilling as well as barrel matured products for beer and cider, always involve blending. And so we make sure that we try to give as much opportunity and practice for students to go through that process of evaluating individual components and then evaluating how to get those components to work together to create a new product altogether. Under non-pandemic conditions, and we're looking forward to next March to be able to continue this activity, but each year we will coordinate with the women in our brew program to provide them with the opportunity to work with other brewers, female brewers in the industry, to design a recipe and a product that they brew in February to be released for International Women's Day in March. These products then go to market, and the proceeds generated from them go to scholarship opportunities through the Pink Boot Society, which is a guild organization that was designed initially to support women in the brewing industry. I'm very, very pleased to say that that has been opened up further to underrepresented individuals in the industry. So our students that graduated last June worked on 3 different 3 different beers that were released from 3 Magnets Brewing as well as Triceratops Brewing here in Tumwater. The students, similar to the South Sound Siren on the previous slide, they go through the entire process for recipe development, but then they also go through the branding process, how to develop market research for what that product would look like, designing of the label, and then the actual production and canning and labeling process, as well as some of the sales components of that entire process. They really get the experience of bringing a product online from beginning to end. This is one of the other beers that was made by by our inaugural cohort. This is a East Coast, West Coast style IPA mashup. There's no seafood in this beer. It's largely representative of the 2 coasts, kind of mashing the 2 different styles and how each coast handles their own IPAs. And so in terms of these site visits that I had mentioned earlier and the field work that's done, we find that there's so much value to be gained by bringing students into the spaces where our professionals are working in, the spaces that they have created, that they operate in on a day-to-day basis. There's no better opportunity to have a professional explain and guide our students through their techniques than providing and then bring the students to their own space. And so we've been thrilled to be able to have opportunities to come in, work with Jason Parker, who's on the left at Copperworks, as well as our work at, this is at the Gig Harbor location for Heritage Distilling, which is the image on the right. And not only makers, but those site visits also include raw ingredient producers. So that includes, a barley breeding program here in Thurston County. These are field trials that were being done that settled on, thanks to the WSU Cooperative Extension Program and their barley breeding program, have selected 2 varieties of barleys, malting barleys, that are now going to be grown by Thurston County farmers, malted in Vancouver, Washington, and will be brought back up here to Tumwater, where we, as well as other makers, will be designing recipes around these local ingredients. An image on the right is at an equipment fabrication plant where students are able to go and visit and see what the process looks like to make the tanks that they use. This image was during the inaugural cohort prior to the pandemic. These students are actually able to have the opportunity to see the equipment that we have on the production floor while it's being fabricated on the shop floor. And lastly, I wanted to give a brief announcement on the Percival Creek family of brands that will be coming out later this year. And so as a reminder, this will be a brewery, a cidery, and distillery. And the focus is on supporting education for our students. This is in partnership with the college and the college's CBD program, as well as the SPSCC Foundation. A big component of this too is that we will be focusing on crafting these recipes, as I mentioned with barley, we're focusing on Washington grown ingredients for all of our products. And that's everything I have, and I'm happy to take any questions if you have it.
Frank, I think there's a couple of questions in the chat.
So Frank, it looks like one question was around if we're ever going to do any instruction related to kombucha.
Yes, definitely. That's a great question. Yes, we are not limited to beer, cider, and spirits. Kombucha, depending on what your sugar source, could be classified usually as a wine, but can actually be classified sometimes as a beer. So our license will accommodate for that. I love kombucha. I know a bunch of the instructors do too. We all recognize and see the growth in that market. So we will absolutely be looking at producing kombucha. I see mead here too. That is also a yes.
And I think Tim answered
I don't know if anyone mentioned hard seltzers. Yeah. I'm sorry, can you repeat that, Val?
I was gonna say, and I think Tim answered an earlier one about, are we gonna
Okay.
be making bourbon? The answer is absolutely yes. We
Oh,
will be
yes,
making bourbon.
that is a big affirmative. Yes, we have.
So I have a question on bourbon. Are you guys doing your own recipes or trying to do something special?
Yeah, we all of our recipes for all the Percival Creek products will undergo a series of pilot trials as we develop each of those recipes. But yes, each product will be very thoroughly crafted and with innovation as well as respecting the traditions in mind.
So are you guys gonna market and sell the products?
We are, yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So we're going through that process now. We're finalizing our branding work as we speak. Market research analysis has been started about 2 or 3 weeks ago. We intend to have that completed by about mid-April. Web presence will be online late spring or early summer, and we're hoping to have our first products in fall.
So I see
John?
I see a question in the chat from Pete about what are the plans for the upstairs patio. Tim or Frank, either of you just want to tackle that one? I think that's probably the patio on Heritage's side.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So the patio is located on the Heritage side, and so during operations that will be largely utilized for Heritage.
I believe John Don has got a hand up.
Great. Hi, Frank. Good to see you.
Good to see
Hey,
you too.
I just want to do a shout out. We have been trying regionally and certainly in Tumwater to become a whole center of excellence around brewing, distilling, and cider making. And without a doubt, the keystone to all of that is what you and Tim and the college and the foundation and everyone have been doing. I've not heard an update for a couple of months. And this is so exciting. And I know the community is super excited about all of these aspects. So again, thank you to all of you. I think there's a lot of energy in the community, and I just, we want to continue to build on this and continue to find ways that we can prosper economically in so many ways for this community, the region, and the state. So thanks.
Thank you. We're thrilled to be a part of the community. Sorry, Tim.
Well, go ahead, Frank. Well, John, thank you, and thanks for all the support you and the city administration have given to this project. And this is what I can promise. There will be a huge party where we all get to celebrate in that amphitheater just as soon as we can. So it will kind of be our, hello, Tumwater, come check out all this cool stuff we're doing. I would like to give just a little bit of update on the additional buildings and stuff that will be taking place. I believe Ninkasi, they're going to start the building for the Ninkasi Brewery. They should be starting that this summer. And also Credit Union is going in there. And I believe there's plans to also do a craft market building as well that should start late this summer. So it would be a pretty active site over the summer and going into the fall. So it's exciting development for Tumwater. And then also, I believe, John, you can share, but you probably know more than I do, but I was talking to the developer and they're getting ready to start planning the addition of some residential units on the other property adjacent to the facility next to the La Quinta. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, we are talking with them about, I think the first phase is 60 units.
Yeah.
Between the new Tumwater Valley Drive and the La Quinta, and that's only half of the property. So then there's another stretch that would have another phase of development. I would also add back to the grand opening, we have a hefty chunk of lodging tax money. We are so excited to have enough vaccines and enough authorization to be able to have a week-long, we'd like to have a week-long grand opening celebration. So looking forward to that, hopefully this summer, but as soon as we can do it.
That sounds great. Any more questions for our invites here? If not, I want to ask Pete and John, do we have any updates from the city?
Yeah, this is Pete. I can speak about a couple of things. So you may recall that Tom Oliva resigned from our council, and so the council received applications. We received 8 applications, some pretty qualified people there. So they will be interviewing everyone this Saturday. And if all goes as planned, next Tuesday, appointing a new council member to that vacancy. So you'll have someone new to meet. I guess it's last night. Everything runs together these days. Last night they also passed ordinance providing incentives for additional housing development, including height bonuses and density bonuses for certain apartments in certain areas, as well as expanding where duplexes can go throughout the city. And I also, trying to remember, I'm not sure if we added any provisions related to accessory dwelling units. I'd have to look and see, but that's another issue we've been working on as well. So anyway, some incentives there in that package to try and encourage further housing development. Although I have to say things are going crazy in Tumwater right now. We're building a ton of housing. So
Yeah. Thank you, Pete.
John, you want to add anything?
I think you covered it nicely.
Wow, great. I also want to acknowledge a couple of people here. First of all, Elizabeth Breschneider from Thurston Chamber.
Hi, glad to be here. That was
hi.
a great presentation, Toma. Thank you.
And then we have a new person here that joined, Randy Luke. Hey, Randy, would you do me a favor and tell us a little bit what you do? I'll put you on the spot.
I do home loans, and homes are going up in value, and there's no homes for sale. So I might have to come over and learn how to.
Aha, you're cutting up a little bit.
Yeah, community college president after my own liking. Thank you, Tim.
All right, so I think he's looking at the college there to learn something. I didn't get everything.
Why don't we invite him to say it again? We couldn't hear you, Randy.
I said any community college president who's willing to wear a baseball cap at a chamber meeting as a president after my own heart. Hi, Tim. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Awesome.
It's the only way I can make the headphones stay on my head, because I have no hair and they just slide off my head if I don't wear a hat. It's really quite embarrassing. My hair turned gray and turned loose.
Just back to Randy. Everybody knows that Randy does loans. Actually, the interest rates are really low right now. So if you have any refinance or something, go visit Randy. Randy's a good guy. I believe he did my refinance a couple of years ago, and we're sitting good. Any announcements, please? Danny, I know you have, how is Jolt? You're full of surprises with a Jolt there.
Well, thank you for inviting me to speak up. The Jolt comes out every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday with fresh news. There's always a surprise. And so far, we've had very few complaints. So I'm looking forward to hearing more complaints, because that means we're doing a good job. And I'm looking forward to covering this story too. There's several stories today, but particularly about the craft brewing. And I'm excited to know there'll be more people learning how to make kombucha soon.
I see you're a fan, avid fan of kombucha. That's good.
It's, it's got low carbs. So for certain people, about 30% of the population, they can drink kombucha, but they can't drink so much beer, and they got to be careful what kind of distilled substances they drink. So kombucha is the diabetics cider.
So Dr. Zita is here still. So I believe next month we have the Port of Olympia update. So I'm pretty sure they have a pretty good program for us. It'll be very interesting. Please come back and join us. Ms. Zita, you want to add something?
Well, I'm looking forward to the rollout of our new website. I hope it will be easier to find information about the port. So stay tuned for that. And we just found out at our last meeting that the City of Olympia has asked the port to provide a location to display parts of the nuclear attack sub, the USS Olympia, and we'll see how that goes. Hopefully there will be some community involvement about that so we don't have riots.
Well, today, these days, we never know anymore. I don't know what's going to happen. Thank you, Ms. Zita. Any other announcements? Pete?
I should mention that for those of you that are familiar with Tumwater University, that is starting next Monday. You can still sign up for that. It's two Monday nights, about 2 to 3 hours, where you will learn about Tumwater city government. So again, you can go online, sign up for that, and tune in and learn about city government. So I hope some of you that are interested can take a little bit of your time to do that.
There is a link in the chat. If everybody wants to attend, just click on the link in the chat and it will take you straight to the university. Thank you, Anne, for posting that. Brian, Mr. Hardcastle, I know something is going on at the school. You want to give us a little bit of an update?
Hey, sir, I was passing that chat along and that link to Tumwater U to some of our administrators here. Yeah, we're pleased to say that all of our kids have an opportunity for in-person learning. As of Monday, the high school came back. We're looking forward to transitioning all kids into or providing options for them and their families that meet their educational needs. And in addition to that, we're also heavy into a partnership with Core Plus. We've got another meeting today, which means that we're expanding the manufacturing options in South Tumwater, not only aerospace and construction, but also we're moving more into marine and diesel technology in partnership with New Market. So Matt Ischler, who's the new Market Skill Center Director, has been very receptive and opening to providing opportunities for students in South County. I've also been in contact with Amy Warren on expanding our opportunities with South Puget Sound Community College and articulating programs and students into SPSCC as well. So, you know, you got to keep the vision alive. COVID can be excused for a lot of things, but it can't be the deterrent to do the right thing for kids.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Brian. I think that's about it for us. Today was a little bit shorter than usual. I want to thank everybody for coming and join us, spending the time with us and finding out what's going on in Tumwater. We try to provide value for these forums. And I believe we can deliver quite a bit of information. And again, thank you for your participation. Don't forget about June 11, our golf tournament. We need golfers. We also need some sponsors as well. Be aware of the Tumwater Chamber newsletter. It went out. Again, we're trying to share quite a bit of information there. We're looking for suggestions, as if you want to send us some your opinion and suggestion, please email to info@tumwaterchamber.com. Facebook, and we have a private group for members in the Facebook at Tumwater Chamber. Join the group and let's have a powwow there and discuss whatever subjects you want to do. Again, thank you, everybody. We're looking forward for next month to see you at Port of Olympia update, and have everybody a great day.